Hello and welcome to Mecha Anime Reviews, and now we're going to take a look at the sequel to one of the most revered classics of the super robot genre, and the show that put Hideaki Anno and Gainax on the map, aim for the top a second time, DieBuster! DieBuster is a 6-episode OVA series created to commemorate the 20th anniversary of Gainax and GunBuster, released in 2004 and directed by Kazuya Tsurumaki, the director behind FLCL, or Fully Cooley. The story follows a young girl named Nono, who dreams of becoming a space robot pilot, or a nonoriri as she so puts it. While working in a cafe, Nono gets rescued from some perverts by a space pilot named LAL'C, and quickly becomes enthralled with her, to the point of calling her Onesama. Suddenly, an alien monster attacks, with LAL'C sitting off to fight it. However, it turns out that Nono is in fact a robot, and manages to beat the alien with a well-timed Inazuma kick. Nono then finds herself becoming part of the elite organization known as the Fraternity, made up of teenage pilots called Topless. Armed with quasi-humanoid weapons called Buster Machines, they fight to protect the people of the Sol system from attacks by swarms of space monsters. However, it appears there's more to the situation than meets the eye, and perhaps fate has bigger plans for Nono than what other people might expect. The animation is top-notch Gainax material. It's breathtaking and it's amazing to look at. The music is alright, some tracks from GunBuster return here, and the new tracks are just as amazing. I really like the opening theme, Groove and Magic. It's incredibly catchy and fun. The voice acting is in general pretty good, fitting their characters well, though Yukari Fukui as Nono can get a bit grating at points, but it doesn't get too annoying and she pulls through on the emotional scenes. As Macross 2 demonstrated, a sequel being released years after the original is going to be a tricky beast. No matter what, it's always going to disappoint some people, either by sticking too closely to the original or deviating from it to such a large extent that it might as well not be a sequel at all. Now the trick here is that even if it does disappoint, the sequel can still be good enough to be enjoyed. And thankfully, DieBuster pulls through. The characters are for the most part okay and avoid feeling like retreads of older characters. Nono is a pretty likable main character. She's energetic and bubbly, but is also determined. Unlike Noriko, who needed to overcome her fears and problems to be a better hero, Nono is already assured and confident in herself. She doesn't really change too much, but her determination and passion is admirable, and you do want her to succeed, in spite of everybody else telling her that she sucks. Much of the character development goes to LAL'C instead. She starts out as an aloof and disgruntled individual, but later she does grow to care for Nono and starts showing more vulnerability and becomes more badass. The rest of the characters sadly don't really have that much depth or characterization, but are mostly alright. The mecha battles are awesome and exciting with a lot of energy and get more insane by each episode, much like Gurren Lagann. One of the things that makes DieBuster work is that instead of trying to emulate GunBuster, it goes for a different style to distinguish it from the original, more resembling Fully Cooley than GunBuster. It's over the top and weird, but it actually works to its advantage, and it does maintain connections to the original through a massive amount of callbacks and shoutouts. Yet they never feel forced and contrived, they feel natural and organic. For the most part. The final episode does kind of push it a bit, but it never gets too annoying. The pacing is solid, moving just right, there are twists and turns that are foreshadowed well, and DieBuster remains fun and exciting throughout. There are a few problems though. Like I said, a lot of the characters don't get that much characterization or depth. Even when the anime does try to develop some of them like Taiko, they never really come alive except for Nono and LAL'C. There are points where the anime gets kind of confusing and hard to follow, and there were elements that they could have had more focus and development. The biggest problem with the anime is that because those elements are underdeveloped, it lacks the same emotional depth and subtlety that GunBuster had. The original took its time to develop the characters and story that when it reached the ending, it was a massive tearjerker and it was a truly rewarding experience. DieBuster lacks a similar approach in development, and it honestly hurts the series. Now don't get me wrong, DieBuster is good. It's well animated and perfectly put together, its action is engaging and the characters are alright. It just isn't as good as the original GunBuster, but it does stand as a worthy successor. And to be fair, I cried a bit at the ending. It's probably the most perfect way to finish it off, and it's truly well earned. Oh well, see you next time on the next Mecha Anime Reviews.